now we're going to the age group I love the most, because this is the age group where you're open and there's no secrets. That's the 13 to 19 years of age. This is the teenage years, and it's very important you let them know the way it is. Now, in this age group, they would have started seeing signs of puberty. So you talk about puberty again, talk about their body changes, talk about what they've seen so far and what they still expected to experience in the puberty years. Also in this age group, you talk about hormonal changes again, let them know what hormones are and how to deal with hormones. Also let them know about menstruation, let them know how to calculate. In this age group, they should know how to calculate their menstrual cycle. They should know what menstrual length is. They should know the number of days they bleed. They should know the consistency of the blood. They should know how many pads should be used, and they should know how to take care of their body. They should have a very good hygiene in this age range. Another thing to re-emphasize is the issue of consent. They should know what the age of consent is. They should know what consent is. Let them know all the important things about consent. Consent being a responsibility, being reversal. Let them also know that consent is something that they shouldn't be ashamed of, a yes or a no. Let them know as well what family planning is. They should know contraceptives. They should know the types of contraceptives. They should also know what STD is, that is sexually transmitted diseases. They should know how to take care of themselves if they ever have any sexually transmitted diseases, where to go to. Also in this age range, you should also talk to them about toxic relationships. Let them know your past experience with the subject of toxic relationship. At least this gives them a reason to connect with you. This also allows them to express themselves. If they are in any of these conditions, they would be able to talk to you freely. Another thing to emphasize is abstinence. Let them know what abstinence is and why it's important to abstain. Another thing to take into note is your cultural and religious values as regards abstinence. Let them understand the key to abstaining, and whenever they do decide to have sex, let them know that it should be their choice, not due to pressure from anywhere, not because of love or a show of love, not because of the usual things they might hear of. Let them know it's their decision to take. And when they decide to take this decision, ensure that they have all the information about contraceptives and how and where to get them from. In this age group, be personal with them. Be open-minded and do not shy away from their questions. Be that parent who gives them the first-hand information in this age group. I would not end this series without talking to the parents as well. I want to talk about how to understand your child and what you need to do to understand your child. You might have 1, 2, 3, 4 kids. It doesn't really matter the number. But I want you to remember that every child is different and every child is unique. As a parent, it is your responsibility to understand your child's rhythm, understand how your child thinks, so that when it comes to explaining some things, the way you explain to one child is always different from the way you explain to another child. So it is important to understand your child's rhythm and the thought process each child has. Another thing is to be open. There's nothing like an open parent. If that child makes mistakes, it will be important that your openness is an avenue for them to talk about their problems, talk about their fears, talk about things they are not so comfortable with. It's always good to be that parent that the child can come to, rather than the child having advice from outside. You are the best source of advice. So be open to your child. Another thing you should also do is share your stories with your child. There's nothing, and I always would say that there's nothing like a parent who is open enough to share their mistakes, open enough to share some lessons they've learned in life. This gives the child a better decision-making skill, because they can look back at some of the mistakes you've made, they can look back at some of the lessons you've learned, and it helps them to choose the path they want to go. Finally, I would say, as a parent, make sure that you do what your child loves as much as you do what you love. Don't always be caught up in yourself. Find out what your child loves and do it. This gives that child that freedom to also express his or herself. I hope that with this series you've learned 1 or 2 things, and I hope it helps you find that moment to talk to your child about sex, about their body. Also talk to them about molestation and let them know that you are that parent who always cares for them, who always wants the best for them. And whenever they make any choice, they can always come back to you. Thank you.